Okay, we're live.
Hey everyone, I was supposed to after my live with Joy and Lev, I was like, "Oh, I'm still in my pajamas because I've been talking about this all day." And I was like, let me go work out and then let me go get food for my family. And then I get this text literally right as about I was getting my wallet and my keys, and I
Oh
get this
my
text
God.
from Danielle, and Danielle's like, "Watch, tomorrow's July 4th. We're not doing democracy-ish. Want to hop on for 15 minutes?" And I'm like, "Yes."
So
Uh,
it's not really me. You're addicted to badness and you cannot say no. So I just
and
want
then and
people to
then Danielle and
understand.
then Danielle was like, "I'm pulling a watch. I should
I'm
be
pulling a
on
watch. We
vacation."
need to go live.
Because I should be resting, but I must talk to someone. Um, the Republicans, as predicted, folks, rallied. I was just telling Danielle that because I'm a freak, I was up and I was watching live as the Republicans pulled a Murkowski. Two of them voted no. All of them got online. It was all theater. Donald Trump bullied them. This is his signature legislation. Those who opposed it, like Tom Tillis, have announced their retirement. The billionaire bill from hell, folks, is 900 pages, cuts $1 trillion from Medicaid
Hmm.
to pay for 3.3 trillion dollars tax cuts that will be added to the deficit. The richest will get richer, not just the poor. Everyone will get poorer.
Yeah.
As a result of the $1 trillion cuts in Medicaid, you're going to have shutting down of rural hospitals. You're going to have the shutting down of nursing homes. It's going to have a trickle down effect, systemic damage to so many Americans. Also, cut to SNAP, and something that finally people are picking up on today and yesterday. They found $175 billion, oh, for ICE. So now ICE will have a bigger budget, my friends, than the militaries of several countries. ICE is now the biggest funded federal agency, more than the CIA, more than the FBI. They're going to have 10,000 agents. They're going to have more concentration camps, more private prisons, right? And who are they going to put in those prisons and concentration camps, right? When Ron DeSantis said gator bait earlier this week when announcing alligator Alcatraz, gator bait was the language that slavers used. Gator bait was the language that was used by white supremacists. So what we're dealing with, folks, is a retrenchment back to the 19th century, but this time with an oligarchical twist. It's white supremacy plus the 1% combining their powers together. It's Stephen Miller and the billionaires. And this is where we are. And what I was telling Danielle, and I just posted this on Blue Sky. I was talking to Lev about this and also Joy because I said, "Am I crazy?" And they said I wasn't crazy. So, Danielle, I posted this publicly. I said, this bill, Republicans know it's horrifically unpopular. In fact, the best ratings for this bill, folks, was negative 19 points. That's the best. It's negative 19 to negative 26. When more and more people find out what's in the bill, it's going to get more and more unpopular. Republicans know it's unpopular. Republicans know by touching Medicaid, they've made themselves vulnerable in 2026. So why would they go ahead and do it? And I'm
I,
thinking maybe you're very confident you're going to win the 2026 election. Or maybe, oh, I don't know, you have 2 years, about a year and a half, to rig or do election integrity or do fraud or do disinformation. Or I don't know, now that you have $175 billion poured into ICE, you have your own private Gestapo and army, and you can do something like they did in 2018, invasion, and do martial law. That's just my thoughts, top of the head, Danielle.
I mean, look, I've been saying this on the Danielle Moody show. I said it on multiple times on Democracy Ish. Republicans generally fall to their knees when it comes to polling. They want nothing more than to hold on to their power, to hold on to their fiefdoms. And so I kept saying to myself, man, nearly 60% of the country, according to the Quinnipiac poll and Fox polls, is against this bill,
Yep.
right? It people are showing them per state, per district, exactly how many thousands of people are going to be kicked off of Medicaid? How many tens of thousands of children are going to lose free and reduced school lunch because you're robbing from the SNAP programs that literally feed hungry children? And I said, the only way that you move in the way that Republicans have been moving is if you know something the rest of the country does not. And
Mm.
my belief is that they know that they have the 2026 election on lock, that they know that Donald Trump isn't leaving in 3.5 years. Because when Elon Musk came out, remember when they're in their, breakup Real Housewives of DC feud, on social media, and he says Donald Trump only has 3.5 more years. He's basically a lame duck, but I'm going to be around for at least 20, 30 years.
Yep.
Republicans did not fall in line behind that sugar daddy because,
Nope.
again, I believe that they know something that the rest of us do not. And by the rest of us, I mean regular Americans, because you and I and so many others have been talking about this since the beginning of time, that I believe our last free and fair election was 2020. I have said I do not believe that the 2024 election was a clean election. There's been too much speculation. There have been too many commentaries, but I believe because Democrats are weak and would never push back against 2024, that they were able to do some sly shit. Why do I say that? Oh, I don't know. Because of the machines that have come back and people have said, well, something was weird about them, or the bomb threats that happened to evacuate certain polling stations. And oh, the fact that Elon Musk out loud said, you wouldn't have won Pennsylvania without me. You wouldn't have. What president in the history of presidents, Wajahat, has won all swing states? And a man whose polling at the time of the election was in the fucking toilet wins every swing state? Miss me with the bullshit. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I think that what Donald Trump did over the course of 2020 was puts out so much negative information, so much misinformation about the election, that if Democrats tried to touch something that they thought was off, then he would say, see, these elections aren't free and fair, and I won in 2020, knowing goddamn well it wasn't free and fair in 2024. And I know for certain, we are not having midterms because Republicans do not move in this fashion that would have them potentially lose power, lose their donors, lose their base in order to keep Donald Trump in power if he's truly a lame duck president. Folks need to wake the fuck up.
Yeah, look, Elon Musk folks publicly said you would not have won the House or the Senate without me. And I always want to know, what do you mean by that? And also, Donald Trump openly said, "Thank you, Elon, for the voting booths in the Pennsylvania. Couldn't have done it without you." I'm like, what do you mean, bro? What are you talking about? And even with all of that, he barely won by 1.4%. So they know they don't have this massive popular mandate that they claim. In each and every single time that Republicans have gone after Medicaid and Social Security, it's been a disaster. According to Notice reporting yesterday, Donald Trump, God, we're getting killed by the dumbest people on earth, went to
The
these
dumbest
Republicans
fucking people.
and tried to whip them into shape and said, "What you do, don't touch Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security." And according to three people, they're like, "This bill goes after Medicaid," and they still voted for it, right? So, Jessica Tarlov on Twitter just said there's going to be a lot of, Republicans who are going to be primary, are going to lose, and I said, in 2026, assuming if we have election. Now people say, Waj and Daniel, you've lost the plot. Yeah, you've nuked the fridge. You've gone too far. And then I say, well, in 2019, go look at my tweets. It's all there. I said Donald Trump will not leave the presidency willingly. What happened? The January 6th insurrection. I said if he wins again, he will pardon all 1,600. What did he do? Pardoned all 1,600. I said that you are not paying attention to the Republican Party. My first article, I believe, for Daily Beast when I was a columnist was Marjorie Taylor Greene is the future of the party. They said
Yep.
she's an outlier. Now Marjorie Taylor Greene is more like sensible than Laura Loomer, who advises Donald Trump and just said on Twitter, celebrating alligator Alcatraz, that alligators have 65 million meals. 65 million is the same number of Latinos in this
in the
country.
entire country.
On this week, folks, while he was celebrating the concentration camp, Alligator Alcatraz, they found it. They found a way to get it done in 8 days. People friggin' don't have schools, they don't have bridges, but they got this Alligator Alcatraz. Donald Trump said he's open to stripping citizenship from U.S. citizens. He's opening to arresting Zoran Mamdani and essentially any Democrat who opposes his Gestapo ICE coming after him. And then he again brought out the birther conspiracy for Mamdani. Said some people say he's here illegally. We have to look into that,
Look
right?
into it.
Yeah, and we did. Joy and I did the receipts. They attacked Senator Padilla. They handcuffed New York City Comptroller Brad Lander. He's threatening to arrest Zoran Mamdani. They arrested Baraka. They
Mhm.
arrested and are prosecuting the white
The
Wisconsin
judge.
judge.
Hmm.
Who did this? ICE. ICE did this. So ICE, like what we have said, is the Gestapo. It is the private army. It is his own militia, the brown shirts that he will unleash to terrorize America. Folks, right now in the United States of America, there's thousands of ICE agents for no reason whatsoever, teamed up with the National Guard and the military to
Yep.
terrorize Los Angeles. And now ICE, folks, to pay for the tax cuts for the rich, which, by the way, those tax cuts are permanent tax cuts, adding $3.3 trillion to the deficit. Because remember, Republicans were deficit hawks. And remember, they were also against big government. Congratulations. They just friggin' fed ICE steroids. Steroids on meth and crack, right? Like, speaking about small government, ICE, again, folks, now has a bigger budget than the militaries of entire countries. So the question I have for you, what is ICE going to be used for, Danielle, in the next year?
So here's the thing. Everything that you just said, I want to remind folks, we're only 6 months into this regime.
There you go.
We are 6 months into this regime. And this is what Donald Trump has been able to do. He has rolled back civil rights. He has created his own Gestapo. He has manufactured concentration camps, because I refuse, Waj, to refer to it as alligator Alcatraz, because it is alligator Auschwitz. It is
Yeah.
internment camps. It is a concentration camp. It is, if you look at the pictures of the Japanese internment camps and Auschwitz, that is what it looks like, right? That is what it is. And so what we have to understand, when Donald Trump says, we got some bad homegrown
Mm.
here, we got some really bad people. Oh, and he says they whack them over the head and they do X, Y, and Z. Sorry. They do X, Y, and Z. Um, Folks, we have to get the fact that um we're not safe. None of us are safe. Donald Trump, like, I don't know how long Waj and I and so many other independent media folks and creators are going to be able to legally do what it is that we do.
Lev
Because
told me that.
this,
Lev, I don't know if he's watching, but Lev said, watch how they're going to go after Substack and independent media.
it is all you've watched this week. CBS just gave $14 million in the lawsuit to Donald Trump's
16.
library, right? You have Paramount doing pay for play so that they can get their deal through. You've already had ABC give millions of dollars, right? So what are you seeing that's happening with these people? Well, they move into independent media where you and I have been. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to lock up a big media personality and you're going to say that they're a terrorist, they're a threat, whatever it is that you're going to say. Because guess what? Who does he have in his pocket? The Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, who just neutered federal judges. So, folks, you have to, like, we have reached the fever point. We have reached the breaking point. The American Revolution began over less. And so folks have to recognize, they keep saying, oh, we'll get them in midterms, we'll get them in this. No, the fuck you are not. We are not voting our way out of fascism. That is not how this is going to work. And soon come time where the rest of us will not have voices. So the actions and the organization that people need to take now, which I believe is a national fucking strike to shut this shit down, needs to happen. It needed to happen yesterday. Right? It needs to happen fucking now. People are going to lose their lives. 16 million people off of Medicaid, children without food. Schools stay open in summer so that they can feed poor children. People keep asking how. We need organizational strategy that comes from these, I believe, that comes from unions, that comes from the big unions, that comes from the big organizations with memberships that come to the table and say, we need a national strike.
And I want to read this quote. It's from the New York Times. The hope of winning future elections was little solace to some lawmakers. Representative Brittany Peterson, a Democrat of Colorado, was sobbing as she left the vote. Quote, the amount of kids who are going to go without health care and food, people like my mom, are going to be left to die because they don't have access to health care. It's pretty unfathomable. Her mother became addicted to heroin and then fentanyl when she was a child. She overdosed more than 20 times. She recently celebrated 7 years in recovery. As that's happening, folks, and speaking about the plan, we got this. Congressman, Republican Robert Bresnahan, okay, literally dumped stock in a Medicaid provider company right before this bill came to the floor. It's all a grift, oligarchy and white supremacy. They don't care. This $175 billion to ICE is also going to create private prisons and concentration camps. And what Danielle and I've said the whole day, is that the stocks of one industry shot right up right as soon as Donald Trump won the election. It was announced private prisons. All right. So you're going to have people broke, people poor,
Yep.
people unhealthy, people sick, kids out of school. And who is in American prisons that incarcerates more people than any other country on earth? 80% of the people are poor. So guess what? You're going to get free labor for the oligarchy because you're going to put them in concentration camps. You're going to put them in private prisons. And folks, we're going to have a brand new chain gang. And guess what will be really fun? Maybe if you have them fight each other, or maybe if the immigrants fight each
bring in
other.
cameras.
Yeah, well, it'll be fun. And then
It'll be great.
whoever wins, like the show Running Man, they'll get their freedom. Or like Hunger Games, or like Squid Games. And you think I'm crazy? Kristi Noem allegedly pitched this as a reality show. She said, hey, let's have immigrants fight each other as a reality show or compete in games for citizenship. They're taking us back to the 19th century. What Danielle and I have always said, this is white supremacy. They're willing to burn it all down, including themselves. This bill and Donald Trump's disastrous economic bill and all the policies have only harmed America, but they don't care. They want America white again. And as we are dying, they will literally sell our bodies, our bone marrow, they won't even leave fingernails. They won't even leave hair. They're going to find a way to make that into Soylent Green and make money for themselves.
Look, here's the thing, and this is because you brought up so many good points here, which is that one, I just want to remind folks when Waj says private prisons went through the roof, I also want to talk about who donated to get Alligator Auschwitz built, right? CDR Enterprises, and who is it? It's CDR Enterprises that donated $1 million in December 2023 to whose super PAC? Ron DeSantis's. Ron DeSantis then turned around and appointed the head of CDR Enterprises, Duart, to the board of trustees for Florida International University and named his wife, Tina Vidal Duart, to the Florida Atlantic University board of trustees. Then they went on last June to donate another $400,000 to Right for America, a pro-Trump super PAC. Duart donated $500,000 to the Trump 47 committee. He also gave $148,000 in December to Kennedy's campaign. Then Bloomberg reported that SLSCO Limited, a construction company out of Galveston, Texas, right, who was also involved in the building of Alligator Auschwitz, that firm donated, the Sullivan Brothers Investment Group donated $30,000 in 2022 to DeSantis' state level super PAC. So, folks, when we say that this is a pay for play, that this is Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis and others giving back to the people who made it so that they could solidify their power. This is what it looks like. The dumping of stocks doesn't matter because who's doing the investigation? It's not going to be Bondi's Department of Justice. It's not going to be Democrats that are calling them in front of committees. They know that they have this shit on lock and that they can get away literally with robbing the American people blind right now, robbing us blind right now. And so, again, where does the power lie? The power lies with the people. Let New York City be an example. Let Zoran Mamdani and the fact that he got 18 to 24-year-olds out in the biggest number of any age demographic in New York City to vote for him in the primary. And this is exactly why Donald Trump is terrified. And how is Donald Trump terrified? Because he's trying to deport him, going on his broke down social media platform, saying that we have to investigate and look in. The president has to investigate and look into a mayoral candidate from a city because he has the pulse of the people. That's why. Because the people are waking up and becoming hip to their grift. That's why. And the grift of both parties. But I'm telling you, $140 billion to ICE. Can you only imagine how Hitler's Germany would have been extended into a massive empire if Hitler had had billions of dollars at his disposal, and on top of that, I don't know, 5,000 nuclear weapons?
I had a conversation with historian Timothy Ryback, who is an expert on Hitler and the rise of Nazism and the decline of the Nazi Empire. And he said Hitler could have only dreamed of the type of polling that Donald Trump has.
Yeah.
Danielle led me to exactly we're in sync, where you took me to Zoran Mamdani and how all this is connected. Folks, Hakeem Jeffries came out today, spent several hours, uh, a, a great masterclass on oratory. It would have been really nice, Danielle,
Mm-hmm.
if he sounded the alarm and spoke this passionately and eloquently, I don't know, last week or over the weekend. Instead, what did Hakeem Jeffries do? Hakeem Jeffries, Senator Gillibrand, and other Democrats have spent the past 2 weeks demonizing Zoran Mamdani instead. Instead of demonizing the Republicans and informing people about what's in this bill, like you and I have just done, or I've tried to do the last couple of days, I'm exhausted, but I've tried. They instead wanted to condemn Zoran Mamdani first so that they could put Andrew Cuomo over the edge in the mayoral race. So then you had the Democratic establishment come out in full force to support a predator, Andrew Cuomo. He lost. Then, as Zoran Mamdani was picking up traction, and now it's they saying he won by 56%, 56% of the vote. He beat Cuomo by double digits. Then they've spent the last week saying, he hasn't condemned a chant he's never used before.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of spending their Sunday privileged position on these shows talking about this bill, they smeared their own guy who is rising in popularity.
Yep.
And the reason why I bring this up, folks, is the oligarchy, the billionaires said, get him, get Mamdani, destroy him. And what did Mamdani do over the weekend? Criticize billionaires. What did he do over the weekend? Criticize capitalism. What did he do this week? Stood up to Donald Trump. Said, okay, yeah, go ahead. We're not going to be bullied by your distract. And what did Zoran do? He said, you're distracting from your own economic failures and this bill, right? Smart pivot. What did Democrats do? They took the money from the same trough of the oligarchy,
Yep.
APAC. I know people don't like hearing this. And if you don't believe me, and the reason why I'm so hot, you saw it literally this week. And I'm sitting there. Number one, the same day that Haaretz releases a report about the IDF being ordered to shoot Palestinian civilians at an aid, You're not asking unconditional supporters of Israel to condemn that. You spent the entire weekend on Bob Villain. Then you attributed a Palestinian chant, a pro-Palestinian chant, to Mamdani that doesn't even use. Then you smeared him. You still haven't endorsed him. None of that energy went towards Trump, the billionaire bill, or Republicans, right? And now you are all of a sudden angry and upset about this bill that gives, I'm sorry to say, your donors tax cuts. It gives your donors permanent tax cuts. So I'm sitting here because to me it's all connected.
Yep.
Why is Zoran Mamdani such a threat? Yeah, his brown skin, and yeah, he's a Muslim, and yeah, APAC hates the fact that he stands for Palestinians. But the main reason he's a threat, the main reason AOC is a threat, the main reason Bernie's a threat, the main reason you and I don't get platformed anymore is because
It's true.
they are messaging against the oligarchy, the 1%. What's the message of Zoran Mamdani? Hey, maybe New York City should be affordable for everyone. And he goes hard in the paint, like Joy and I were talking about. He doesn't give a shit. He goes, F it, free buses. Why not? F it, freeze rent.
Baby baskets.
Yeah, why not?
How about people should be able to have children and be able to afford those children, be able to live in New York City and be able to live here without scraping by. Like, how about that? And, to the point that you're making, it's like, this is the thing that people are becoming conscious to. And this is why Bernie Sanders was railed against by establishment Democrats and they put up Hillary Clinton, right? And they did, and and it's all becoming crystal clear because they all suckle from the same billionaire tits. They all get the same money. They all trade the same fucking stocks. They all go to the same fucking country clubs. And they are laughing all the way to the bank. That it is so crystal clear now for those that have wanted to say, no, Democrats are this or Democrats are that, or they tried their best and blah, blah, blah. That when you see somebody that has a clear message that is resonating with young people, that instead of paying inside the fucking beltway consultants to talk to single American men, to talk to Sam, how about you follow the path of Zoran Mamdani and go back to retail politics and actually ask the people and not the fucking focus groups what it is that you need? How can I make your life better? Not how can I become richer? Not how can I get more donors? I don't want any more of your fucking text messages that are trying to get $5 from me and $2 from me. I actually want you to take action. But when given a blueprint to do that, you choose to attack your own. And so
Literally.
for people that said, well, Hakeem Jeffries is on the floor, he broke history with this floor debate. Give me a fucking break. I don't need your pageantry. I need strategic action. I don't need your bullshit kneeling in kente cloth. I don't need your power to the people on the fucking floor of the house. I don't need your fucking notorious BIG quotes. I need you to have more strategy than fucking Republicans that can't find their way out of a paper bag unless Donald Trump opens it for them. I need you to be better. And they're not. And they're not. So today I'm angry at the Republicans for showcasing their depravity and cruelty and putting it on display for the world. But I'm also angry because we didn't have to be here. And Democrats are part of the reason why we're fucking here.
I'm with you. Look, I'm with you. I've had the righteous rage for the last couple of days, and I've been telling you and the people who've been watching that I'm getting radicalized in real time because folks, the Democratic establishment isn't going to cut it. They're not built for this fight. They're not made for this moment. We're going to have to rely upon ourselves. We cannot outsource this problem to Hakeem Jeffries, Senator Schumer, Gillibrand. I don't care who they bring up, right? Why? Why is a person like Mamdani winning? Because of his message, because he's authentic, because he's sincere, because he goes against the billionaires. Mamdani, people who voted for Trump voted for Mamdani. People who voted for Trump in 2024 voted for AOC. People who voted for Bernie voted for Trump. Why? Because Donald Trump, with bullshit, came out and said the establishment is rigged and I'm going to burn it down. And people said, yeah, burn that shit down, right? Donald Trump and the white rage and MAGA represents, like, you get so frustrated that you punch your wall, and then you get a hole in your wall, and like 10 minutes later, like, oh shit, my knuckles are bleeding. That's the Donald Trump vote. But the rage is against who? The establishment, right? So he said, I'm an outsider. I'm going to bring it all down. A bulldozer, right? That's the word that they used. A person who was also taking on the establishment, but actually had solutions, but the solutions that the oligarchy didn't like. Bernie Sanders, AOC, Zoran Mamdani, right? Who's taking all of your cookies? The 1%. Who's taking the crumbs? The 1%. Who got tax cuts based off you now losing Medicaid? The 1%, right? Who's going to make money off of private prisons? The 1%. Who's going to make money off of indentured servitude? The 1%. Who is benefiting off of these insane rents in New York that make it completely unaffordable? The 1%. The landlords. And Zoran Mamdani says, F it, Medicare for all. F it, free buses, right? Look at Donald Trump, folks. Look at Donald Trump lied and said, vote for me, grocery prices will come down, the war in Ukraine will end, Gaza will be fine. All bullshit. And he won on it. So sometimes you need people to go hard in the paint and give people the imagination to fight for something. You need fighters, right? And so the reason why I'm spending this time, because yes, there's no both sides. Republican or white supremacist fascist movement, right? That's what they are. It's not just MAGA. It's the Republican Party. MAGA is Republican Party. Republican Party is MAGA. It's crystal clear, folks. I give you the past week, right? And there's no both sides here. But all we have right now is the Democrats as an opposition party. And some people say, shut your mouth and vote for them no matter what. Where's it gotten us, folks? Where's it gotten us? Instead, what I say is you put the pressure. The people have to put the pressure. Cull the Democratic Party, Danielle. We have to have a culling of the party. You have to
Yep.
have, if you will, a pruning away of all these soiled parts and then repopulate it with fighters and leaders who can take this vehicle with a message and fight back. I'm telling you all, they're not built for this. I've been saying it on Mehdi's show for years. They're not built for this fight. They are not made for this moment. And if you don't believe me, I give you the past week. Jeffries will not get you there.
Nope.
Schumer will not get you there.
Nope.
Dingell will not get you there. Gillibrand will not get you there. Pelosi will not get you there. The people who will get you there are people who have a radical new message, radical politics. Radical is not so radical to most folks. People don't even care if you're Democratic Socialist. They said, the Democratic Socialist, I don't care. He's willing to make life more affordable, take on the billionaires.
Yep.
Okay. That's the type of energy, the message, the fight that we need in this moment. Because if it hasn't been crystal clear, we're dealing with fascists. It's going to get worse. I hope I am wrong, but I have faith in the people. It's going to be the people. And the color that trumps all other colors, and Danielle, you mentioned it, the national strike, the color green. The color green still trumps all other colors. So it might not be democracy and rights that'll convince America, because, sorry for me being cynical, but I think the money aspect of it, Danielle, the money aspect merged with the movement and organization and leaders might be enough. Your take, your final
You
take.
know, I will say this. Look, I believe that the color green trumps any color, even the color white. But at the end of the day, I think that the ultimate goal here, and this is why I believe that we need to have a national strike sooner rather than later. I believe that the ultimate goal is to, as Donald Trump said in his press conference yesterday, that I come from immigration on both sides. I want farmers to have responsibility or ownership responsibility where they basically own their workers and they
Yep.
take on they won't get access to citizenship, but they'll pay taxes and they'll work for cheap. And their benefit, what do they get out of this? Oh, they get to not live in alligator Auschwitz, right? But they get to be treated and used like property. My feeling is that the ultimate goal here is to take all of the black and brown people, turn
Yep.
them into criminals, put them into these camps, and reinstall slavery, like you said at the top. So when you then have free slave labor, right, for cheap doing all of your work, and then those that are left are able to get cheap products and what have you because they're being made for by these criminals, then That's the end game. You won't need the American worker anymore that you have to pay health care. You won't need, right, to have to worry about paying into somebody else's 401k. You'll get all of the cheap labor done here. And so Donald Trump didn't need to have you see, the trade deals that he has blown up with these other countries that do our labor for cheap while violating civil liberties and human rights. Well, Donald Trump, when he says that he wants to bring the factories back home, to be clear, folks, he means to bring back slave labor. That's the fucking goal. It's to be able to do what China and India do with their factories and their human rights violations. But Donald Trump will do it under the gauge of criminals, right? And making them work while they're here. Meanwhile, ICE is picking up these people from their fucking jobs. But the ultimate goal is what Octavia Butler saw and wrote for Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents in 1993, that the things that came back to this country were slavery and
Yep.
Christian white nationalism under the mantra, make America great again. If you have not read the books, and she's picture is right behind me here, go and read the books, because we are in Parable of the Talents, where slavery is the norm and people are kidnapped every day and put into slave camps.
And folks, I want to remind you all that the one stock that shot up right after Donald Trump was elected was private prisons. And Joy Reid echoes your sentiment, and she says that this is where it's going. It's not going to be called slavery. It's going to be called, prison labor. And if you think this is wild, the California fires, guess who helped fight the California fires? Not Donald Trump, but incarcerated people were fighting the
40%,
fires.
40% of the
So why
firefighters that were fighting were incarcerated. And when get out of prison, guess what jobs they can't get, Waj? They,
firefighters?
correct.
And so, why have institutions? Why have your tax money pay for this when private prisons can make money by just using your family members who are now incarcerated as basically free labor? And I'm old enough to remember that in a country, name I'm forgetting, what preceded a revolution was this slogan: "No taxation without representation." And tomorrow's July 4th, and this country has more weapons than people. And everyone who's been saying, Waj, you've been sounding a bit crazy right now. I'm like, this is a country with more weapons than people. This is a country that loves its Medicaid and Social Security. This is a country where guns kill more. The number one killer of kids and young teens is guns. Luigi Mangione, and I'm not condoning violence, but Luigi Mangione, folks, a majority of Americans support him. What do you think's going to happen in this country when literally people are paying taxes and realizing they have no infrastructure? The
Yep.
rich are getting richer. Their family members are getting imprisoned. Their family members are being detained. And now people are dying because they don't have Medicaid. Things, like someone said, things are going to go boom. And Danielle led me to Danielle talked about Octavia Butler right before she was speaking. I was thinking about Running Man, Hunger
Yeah,
Games,
you talk about it.
Squid Games, Andor. I'm thinking about Chain Gang, All Stars. All these books and all these movies. Give it a read, folks. Give it a read.
Yeah.
That's where we are right now. Folks, this is going to be, please forgive me for this. I was reminded by my publisher, I totally forgot. Uh, I was reminded by my publisher that until July 7th, my publisher is selling this book. Go back to where you came from. Go back to where you
Okay.
came
I
from.
was like,
$1.99 on all ebooks. I just checked it out at Amazon. For the first time, my book is number one in memoirs on Amazon, and number three in memoirs, number one in immigration. I have no idea what happened. Maybe it's that sale. So until July 7th, forgive me for saying this. I know there's so much to do, but my publisher said, please promote it. My book, Go Back to Where You Came From. Anywhere you get ebooks, it's $1.99 until Monday. And there's an audio book. You don't have to get on Amazon. And there is a hard copy, and then
yep.
there's a paperback. You might understand how we got here. It's told through history, through facts, but also to my private story, also about incarceration, American dream, losing it, the war on terror, the normalization of mainstreaming and hate, and how this is connected, how the way the media is involved. I hope you find it useful. $1.99, folks.
I mean,
Support.
you couldn't support independent media, support Waj, get the book.
It's $2. Yes, bookshop.org is great. Ebook, $2. Danielle, support Damn Digest. Please become a subscriber. Danielle and me have kept everything for free, no paywalls. You pay what you can. We're like Blanche Dubois. We depend on the kindness of strangers. So subscribe at the very least to Left Hook the Damn Digest. If you have a couple of bucks, become a paid subscriber. Danielle and I also co-host Democracy-ish every Friday and Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow we're taking the day off, apparently. And
There,
Thanks so
that's
much,
why I'm at
Danielle and others,
work
for
today.
getting the book. Yeah, read the book. Let me know. It's a fast read. I deliberately kept it 210 pages, and a lot of really like fancy schmancy people give it nice reviews. And it was a book of the month or book of the year by Amazon. So I hope you like it. But Danielle has her own YouTube, Danielle Moody. She crossed 25,000. We're trying to get her to 30,000. So please subscribe to that. Enjoy your break, Danielle. Enjoy July 4th. Rest. Everyone else, please rest. This should be my last thing for today. I might be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. with Glenn Kirshner because I'm a fool. We'll have these up. I have the Joy Reads conversation was later today. It's fantastic. I'll have it up in a couple hours. Mike Madrid came on beforehand. He's like the Latino whisperer. He knows it inside out. I'll have that up. And then Danielle or me will put this up in an hour or
In
two.
an hour
So
or
the
so.
1,100 people who have just joined, strongly recommend you watch us from the beginning, and we'll have the transcript for you.
Yes, and I am headed to go do my live show on YouTube, The Danielle Moody Show at 5 p.m. Eastern. If you have not subscribed to either the Damn Digest here or my YouTube channel, please consider doing so. And like Waj said, if you have the resources to become a paid subscriber, continue to support independent media and become a paid subscriber of the Damn Digest and the Left Hook. We are going to continue speaking into these microphones, telling the truth like it is until somebody rips it out of our hands. So, please,
Someone just said,
be well.
for someone said where the bookshop.org has it for $15. The ebooks. It is anywhere you get any ebooks. It's
The
only a
ebook,
buck
yeah.
99. The ebook is a buck 99 till July 7th, and then there's also paperback and hardcover, and also the audiobook. I did the narration. So if you have a little bit of money, go for it. If not, become a subscriber and support us. And thank you all for joining us. Please take care of yourselves. Enjoy yourselves if you can. Be kind, be empathetic, and please, oh, please don't
Don't be a
be
fascist.
fascist. Thank you, Danielle. See you on Monday.
Thank you, Waj. See you Monday.